Happy New Year's, everybody! Woo! That's awesome. I love it. So now we are going to toast the new year. That was pretty cool. And my hands are really cold with champagne now. Thank God it's raining to wash away all the champagne. Here are Mrs. B. You want to grab that? You're going to clink here. Clink, clink. So everybody watching, family, friends, grab something to drink. 2020 was awful. 2021 was a little bit better, but 2022 is going to be great because we are going to live the best lives that we have in 2022. We're going to have fun. We're going to eat and be merry. We're going to play some games and we're going to grow as a community. Here's to 2022, everybody. Welcome to the Bushy Road Weiss Schwarz and Market Update for December 31st, 2021. The last day of 2021, thankfully. And we are going to be moving on. But before we move on, we are going to take a look in the past. We are going to review all the price movement for 2021 with the sets that came out. Real quick though, I know I was talking about budget videos. I more than likely am going to make a second channel for that, so look out for that. I'll let you know ahead of time. Again, thank you everybody that expressed interest in it. I just want to make sure it's easier to find than buried underneath a bunch of Weiss videos. Okay, first up we have Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. What came out on the global online store is actual supplies for Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and the whole point of this is there's a lot of people that want this set, and we look to the global store sometimes to give us a clue if this may be coming. I think it's going to be coming just because it's a popular anime. There should be signatures. We shouldn't have any problems with that. At the same time, when you look at the global online store, they did come out with Sword Art Online before. They actually had SAO 10th anniversary, and for the most part, it looks like we won't be getting that. So just because it ends up on the global store doesn't mean it's not coming. But I feel like this is one of those animes that probably has a good shot at coming. We'll see. We'll see. We won't know more than likely for about 6 months if it's actually going to be announced at all in a future, announcement conference. But we'll see what we got. Okay. All right, I hope you all are ready for this because this took me a good 8 hours to put together. And I don't say that as, oh, feel bad for me because I did it for 8 hours. I say this is going to be a long one. It's going to be pretty brutal. So if I do have time, I don't know if I have time, but I will add in little chapters here. And we're going to start out first with FGO Babylonia. And with FGO Babylonia, it was really interesting because keep in mind, the whole collector, investor, people just trying to come in and flip things, that didn't happen until about Data Live when, actually Data Live was more, I'll get into Data Live later. Data Live was just Data Live in itself. We didn't start seeing the uptick in this stuff until roughly Kaguya into 7 Deadly Sins. But there were people interested in it and did try to buy up a bunch of stuff when it came to Data Live. So FGO was one of the ones that was untouched because of all of this. And you'll see that reflected inside of the double rare average. What we have over time here is FGO didn't really do much, and that's what expected. Right? We could see here with the double rare average 737 and 579. And the more important reason why I talk about double rare average was going back to the beginning of why I did all this. I was told over time that double rares got harder and harder to pick up. They got more expensive. The reason why people don't play this game is because it's really, really expensive. And what I wanted to seek out and prove, I didn't know either way, was to see how much this actually was. So if you multiply this all together, what we get is a playset of double rares is $230, which is pretty decent. I've always said on these videos that when people talk about like these actual prices, it's just a mere $200, $300, $400, $100, no matter what, I hear hundreds, and that's a lot of money. Because back in the day, I've said this before, I didn't buy a PlayStation for because it was so much money. It was a lot of money, and I wasn't willing to spend it. But doing this whole card thing, it's easy to get lost in the hundreds and 200s and 300s of dollars you're just blowing, and even just sign cards, it's just tons of money. So people just go and use it. And anyways, in the end, what we have here is you have a set that really isn't the strongest, and even coming up into Fate Grand Order Camelot, some of these cards, well, actually, the majority of these cards aren't used in the upcoming set. What this means for FGO for this actual set, I can't imagine that we're not going to see a reprint. Even though booster prices of this stuff, it's nuts. Here, let's just bring up the booster box. The booster box of these are pretty much disappearing. There was a point in time, it was about 4 weeks ago, that I said you might want to start buying. Actually, it might have been like 6 weeks ago, six to 8 weeks ago, 2 months ago, that I started saying, if you haven't bought stuff, if you haven't bought booster boxes, cards, sealed, anything, if you wanted that from the earlier in the year, you want to start buying it. Because what I started noticing all this time was there were people buying up booster boxes, trial decks, signed cards, playable cards. In the past, it was one of those ones where as the time got on, we all forget because you move on to the next set. You don't pay attention to it. But there's definitely some people that were waiting for it to drop just a little bit more, and that's what took place here. So one of the things that actually moved was Fate Grand Order booster boxes, and you can see that right here. You can see we have back in November, so roughly about the time I told you, I started noticing this stuff. I'm like, you might want to buy it if you really, really wanted it. And what we have here is basically no supply left. You have this person that has 5 boxes. 5 booster boxes, but when you take a look at the grand scheme of this, like what's actually left here, you can look at this fancy TCG player chart. Look at that thing, just all the way up there. It's gone. It's one of those ones where I can't imagine there'd be a reprint happening on this one, just because you don't need it. You don't need it, and the cards are still accessible. They're there. They're pretty cheap. And what I mean by that is, let's actually hit double rare. If I hit double rare here, there's no 1 seller left or 2 seller. Here's a 7 and a 9. Outside of the 7 and 9, you have 13, 12, 11. The supply is there. If you want to get it, it's decent enough. If you just want to own it, here you go. It's a cheap enough price. What we have with the sign cards, though, is the sign cards do not reflect that. It's one of those ones where you either bought it or you didn't, and you could see here, Ereshkigal Gal is gone. We have Ishtar gone. You have Mosh that's still available. You have plenty of Kingu. And the funny part is, it's like no matter how bad some of these cards are, no matter if there's a dude on it or anything like that, the price is still there. It doesn't mean that signed cards actually necessarily sell all that easily. That's one of the big things that people don't get with Weiss Schwarz is, even though these cards are worth a lot, it's only worth a lot because there's not a lot of them available. And at the same time, they don't sell all that much. It takes a certain person to go, I want this Kingu card. And I don't mean that in a negative way. There's only going to be certain people that want it. Like Bang Dream. Bang Dream has 7 bands, and each band has 5 girls in it. So we have 35 different people, and they all have different signed cards. They all have different cards. And not all the signed cards are, as anything that we've seen, are as expensive as the other ones. They're different. Everybody likes a different person. There may be, like Yukina, where there's more people that want her, but there's not going to be just flat out tons of people for every different girl. And you can see that this is same issue here with Kingu. Not everybody's going to want Kingu. There's going to be somebody that did, because obviously someone bought this back on September 21st. There was 2 bought up on September 21st. And with that, it just proves again that we all like different things, and each thing has a different value. A lot of the SP price is due to the playability, the look of it, and the actual character. Now, what you see here with Kingu, we got 6 listings, we got 3 for Gilgamesh, and obviously these other ones have pretty much gone. The other thing with Fate Grand Order, let's just take a look here. Oh, here. This is what I wanted to bring up. The thing with TCG Player is you need to be sure if you want a card to actually click it. Because you could see right out here on the front for the Mistress of Underworld Ereshkigal, there it says there's nothing here. It doesn't say currently out of stock, there's just nothing here. If you click inside of it, though, you scroll down, and right now you see a picture for 1,500. You see a seller for 1,500. The reason why it doesn't do that is something about pictures. When you put pictures in there, it doesn't actually show the listing. You have to go inside of here and click in it. So if there is a card that you want, just because you see on this outside here, you think it's not actually there, you'll want to go inside and click it. And that's just more because I've seen a couple of these signed cards at this point on different sets that I think I took a picture of a few of them. That if you click inside of these things, you'll find it. So just because you don't see it on the outside doesn't mean it's not good. There's a card in there. And actually, there's some that could be at a lower price because this one in here for 1,500, they're saying it's BGS pristine. So you could, okay, error. I just hover over it apparently. I'm just going to hover over it. Actually, I probably just have to hit view details. There we go. We have view details. You could see this is because this is graded that they want to show off the picture. That's why it's 1,500. Centering 9.5. I'm not going to think about centering right now. I could see it actually being a little bit off. So that's probably why. I mean, that's exactly why I didn't get the 10. But there you go. There is one listing with photo available on this product. I really wish a TCG Player was going to do something that they would count that one listing out here. Like you would put one listing for 1,500. Because the way this seems like, it seems like there's nothing there. Anyways, moving on. That was not the only thing about Fate Grand Order. What I did here was I started taking pictures of SRs and triple rares. I normally don't show you this. I watch it myself. And the reason why I watch it is because SRs and triple rares are very interesting in that way because you need them for a max rarity deck. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time they have alternate art. And as you can see here, we have Reassuring Ally Ishtar SR, $75. So some of these SRs have a fair amount of value, and again, it goes back to character, art, usability. That plays a whole lot into it. You're going to see that with, here we got No Buts Ishtar. As you remember, No Buts Ishtar was our double rare up in here, which is going for $723 right now. Oh, No Buts Ishtar. You might want to watch out. I know there was somebody asking before, and I think it was like Reddit or Facebook, something like that, that they were saying, do triple rares and SR hold value? And it's yes, but again, conditionally, because you could see down here, we have an SR Kingu, 64 cents. There's probably shipping that's attached on that. I'm not going to bother trying to find that, but not all of them are going to be worth tons of money. You have to be very selective about what triple rares, what SRs you actually look at. And promo cards. The one other thing here that I wanted to mention before I move on is the trial deck. Trial deck. Someone's been buying the heck out of these things. So if you take a look at the trial deck, they were sitting in the 20s for a while there. And people were buying it up. Going back to my whole thing about you should have bought some certain things if you're looking for them about 2 months ago, because what started happening was these 26, 29s, they all got bought out, 30s and 24s. But now, after all of that happened, we're in the 43s, and there's not many of them left. 1, 2, and a sealed display deck. Trial deck sealed display, whatever. Okay, and let me just stop sharing for a second. I'm gonna bring something up. I'm just gonna bring up a little calculator. I want to show something. The interesting part about these displays is, let me just do this. 4388 times 6. I know this guy doesn't have 6 of them. He only has 1. But if you catch what I'm doing here, a display of 6 is $263. This display is $199. Of course, someone's only going to want 1 or 2 trial decks, but there's going to be other people out there that are looking for triple rares, or they're going to be looking for the sign card. So it's one of those ones, if you're willing to gamble, you actually have a trial deck display. If those displays weren't actually mapped, you have to just wonder about that if it was actually mapped out. But those are viable here, because this is the SP inside of there, and that is $300 at this point. We have Mosh at $300. And then the triple rare that goes with that, let's take a look real quick. So again, for everybody out there that doesn't know this, triple rares are noted as a T when it comes from a trial deck. So let me just zoom in on there. You can see right here, one of the things that, it's not just solely looking at triple rares or all of that. You have to see where the triple rares come from. The triple rares can come from trial decks, and it is denoted by this T. Not surprisingly, that this Ishtar here, the goddess of fertility and war Ishtar, is this much. So none available, sold for $30, comes from that trial deck display. But trial deck displays, you normally, I'm not going to say guaranteed, you normally are able to get either a SP or a triple rare. And in this case, you are going to either get this triple rare right here, Ishtar. You will be getting this Da Vinci, or I was thinking about the name for a second. I remember watching this. I forgot her name was Leonardo da Vinci. I was thinking Michelangelo for a second. I don't know why. And then we had this Gilgamesh. So one of the three. Obviously, Ishtar is the one you're going to want to hit. You can see right here this Gilgamesh is $48.99, but it actually hasn't sold any. So realistically, is it $48.99? No. No, it's not $48.99. Or if you're unlucky, you hit the Da Vinci. The other thing you could hit again is this SP Mosh for 200, let's say 290. It's actually surprising that it's 290. I get why it's 290. Usability and all this other stuff. It's not like the greatest sort of art, but it should be rarer than other things, more just because it comes from a trial deck. And it was before that time when people bought up a ton of things. There we are. So that is FGO. Overall, this is what I normally see with all the different sets that came out before this mad rush into Weiss Schwarz. Next thing we got here is Magia Record. This would be the mobile game, the one that actually had signatures on it. Overall, this one too has held on to the price very, very nicely. What you see here, double rare average $554 with Fate. We got $576. So overall, pretty decent price for this set, especially since this set wasn't one of the best ones. You can use some cards on it for the Magia Record anime set, but it wasn't overall as needed as this anime set was. And what we have here is the two big ones is your 3-2 Felicia and your Homura. Right there. They were going back and forth a while there when it came to actual pricing. And Felicia was kept getting bought. It was amazing that this whole back and forth was happening. I know Magia Record is one of those ones that people have bought and collected over time and played with. There's a lot of people that love this actual anime, this actual overall, I guess, set. I wouldn't say like the series, but overall, they like Magia Record Madoka. They like Madoka, and we got Magia Record, which is weird because, you know, the two worlds combine, or two communities, I guess you'd say, they combine. All right, anyways, overall it held up really nicely, even though the set wasn't the strongest. Booster boxes, what do we got with the booster boxes? Booster boxes really haven't done much. You can see it right here. I'm going to just bring up the actual picture. Why not? I'm already here. I got the screen. All right, Felicia. Such an awesome card. I love Felicia so much. You've heard me talk about her a lot. There we are. We have Magia Record Booster Box $74.99. One of those ones that, even though this mad rush of people buying booster boxes and all this stuff, Magia Record really hasn't been affected all too much. But as I said before, this thing has changed. Over time, this thing was hanging out in the 64s, and then slowly but surely was getting bought up, and there's only so many left. Only so many sellers. You can see it's not going to take too much here to wipe this thing out. And I'm not going to say TCG Player is the only place to buy from, because there are other places that people buy from, and they are still available pretty low. It says a lot about a set, and I'm not bad mouthing Magia record or Madoka because I love them. I love it. I just watched the recent season. I like it. It was always one of those weird kind of animes, but it always kept me engaged. I liked watching it. And it's not going to take much to really wipe this out, but with everybody buying into Weiss Schwarz and taking a look back at older stuff, for this thing still to be $74.99 says something. That, you know, there's not a ton of people that really want this, that even though these things are priced low, we have this availability. Like, someone could come in here and wipe this out, and they haven't done it, and then they could re-put it up at 200. Reason being is there's enough out there, and people just don't want it. That's as simple as it gets. And as horrible as it is for me as a person that loves Madoka and Magia record, it's just the truth. And you can see that with the trial deck. Let me go back here to the trial deck as well. Trial deck hasn't really done much as well. It's just stayed there at $19. We have a decent amount of supply, right? You have this person with 12. We have a 6, 3, 2, yada, yada, yada. Plenty out there. I wouldn't really try to look at sort of buy this out because you're going to be holding on to this stuff for a while. It's just, that's what's going to actually happen. When we have the sign cards, and now the sign cards. The sign cards are interesting because this set kept their sign cards. When we got to Magia Record Anime, that's when the sign cards were no longer sign cards. They became foil stamp cards, and they actually had serial numbers on them as well. Some of them, not all of them. What we saw over time here was, this is a picture from September 30th, and down here is a picture from yesterday. I did this over 2 days. And what I started seeing was these things were disappearing. We got Homer over here. She's gone, no longer available. We got Iroha, 195. And she is gone. I had to make sure of the Iroha. We got Madoka over here, 198. She's gone. So what was actually happening all this time was people were, as I said, just buying them out as time went on. You have Yachio here, gone as well. And this was all bought during this whole, this was the TCG Player promo bonus bucks thing. And again, more of the reason why I said you might want to start picking up, because people are going to start seeing these deals. They're going to say, this is long enough. It's not going to go down any further. You add on those bonus bucks, and that's when people started really hitting this hard, buying it in the last 2 months. It was an interesting watch. What an actual sales promo will do to things that have been sitting out here for a really long time. Again, what I did was I wanted to map out triple R's and SR's. And the one with, when it came to Magia record, this one was actually more interesting to me. Because I like tracking, when I look at these things, I've said this about the RWBY set when it came to the supply set. I like actually watching this stuff, anything that's interesting and new to me. When I saw these triple rares, what you're going to look here and see is Magia Record Mobile has 8 triple rares, 4 of them being in the trial deck. What we had with Fate Grand Order, you had 3. This one has 4, so half of the triple rares are in there. And some of them are pretty pricey, and you don't have any prices actually attached to them. More again, just because of the fact that it's not as wanted of a set. Not that these cards aren't decent or good or look nice or whatever like that. But here you can see anything in red is marked as triple rare. And I like this one. I actually have this one, the Teamwork on Our First Meeting. I do have that one. That looks so cool. I know someone has it up for $80. It hasn't sold for $80. Someone just has it for $80. But at the same time, it proves how rare this stuff actually is. That the fact that there's only so many listings. You have more listings when it comes to the actual triple rares inside of the booster boxes. Obviously, that one got opened more. When it came to the triple rares, when it came from the trial decks, I can't imagine there was a ton of this stuff open. When you go out there and look at YouTube, back then there was a lot of content creators, but it's not like people are going back and buying Magia record mobile trial decks and opening or doing booster box openings of them either. No one's doing that, and there's a reason for that. It's just not one of the sets that people are really interested in, not wanted to show. And you can see that here. I'm actually surprised that some of these triple rares weren't bought during the sales that we had. I would have thought that would have happened. It didn't happen. Same thing when it comes to SRs. You're going to love this one. We have Sayaka. And I know there's a friend out there. There's a person, that a watcher, that loves Madoka, the overall series. And Sayaka, I'm glad I got one of these because yikes, man. $90 for this card actually hurts. I didn't compare to other sites. I don't know what SRs, Sayakas on other sites are, but just looking at this TCG player one, would I ever buy it at $90? No, that's never going to happen. Same time, the fact that there's only one of these out there for sale, 5 of these, 2 of these, it just proves how much, again, really wasn't opened and how much people don't want to buy some of these, that there's so low count of them that they don't have it. And I think part of that is if they wanted it, they would have already bought it. I might be wrong saying that, but I feel that's actually true. If they wanted it, they would have already had bought these SRs. I know one of the things with SRs is it's cheaper. SRs and triple rares, they always seem to be cheaper when it first comes out, because people want to get rid of it for some reason, and then as time goes by, it gets more and more scarce and it goes up. That's unless you have some set that's some crazy set that people bought too many of them, like the last half of the year. But for the most part, that's what always seems to happen, right? There's only so many of these things that are pulled, and at the same time, there's people that want to have them in their decks. That's Magia record mobile. And move on to anime. Data Live squeezed in right in between there. Came out in March. But we're gonna go with Magia record anime. This came out April 23rd. This was the set that introduced us to serial numbers in Weiss Schwarz, because we didn't actually have sign cards. There we are. The whole Aniplex deal. And you can see that right here. My biggest beef with this was the fact that you couldn't see the actual serial numbers. When we got Sword Art Online, we actually they gave us a different design, but when it came to this one, it was really hard. You can see right here, lower middle is where the serial number is, but you really couldn't see that. It was bad. It was bad. And I go back to, I don't want to badmouth Magia record of Madoka the series. However, this was serial numbers, and we saw what happened with Sword Art Online with serial numbers. That did not happen on Magia record anime at all. I'm going to just scroll down here. What we had here was we had people trying to sell these serial number cards, and this is what these were the ones that actually showed up on TCG Player. We had number 1 Felicia. She actually sold $1,100. Recently, this Felicia sold for $1099.99. I don't know which one it was because it doesn't tell you which number it was. One of them was bought, number 5 or number 8. The other one was removed. And then I know there was some on the Facebook group. I thought it was a Felicia that got sold. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Some of these serial numbers could have ended up on there. Some might have ended up on eBay. Some might have not even be opened. I feel like because of how unopened this set was, there is serial numbers floating out there and nobody has no clue about it. They probably don't even realize there's serial numbers in there, which is pretty amazing that people are holding on to this stuff and don't even know that. I strongly feel that way after what happened with Sword Art Online, that had people known that these serial numbers would be worth stuff, they would buy it. But again, serial number is only worth it if you attach it to the right anime and it looks good, which this was none of the two. What we have here is Saruno 2000, remove. Was this really $350 and removed? It was a serial number 6, and it was gone. Ah, okay. The other controversy that came up with these serial numbers was the fact that there was a duplicate of a number. I think it was the Felicia I was talking about earlier. There was, on the Facebook group, there was a serial number that was on TCG Player and on the auction group from 2 different people all at the same time. So we all assumed that each number was unique. When we saw that duplicate, that threw that out of the window. We haven't seen that problem with Sword Art Online. Maybe it was an issue with production. They accidentally put out a duplicate number. Who knows? But whatever the case, when it came to Magia Record Anime, you had duplicate numbers. And we don't know the extent of that, just because I cannot believe there's no way that all these serial numbers were pulled. There's definitely some just sitting in a closet somewhere waiting to be opened one day. When it comes to double rares, let me hide all this stuff. I was sitting here when I was doing all this, I was like, geez, did I really spend all this time doing this stuff? It was nuts to me. This took me 8 hours, and I'm like, all these other weeks, was I really like throwing my life away by doing this? But it was fun. I knew I could have used the screen scraper all this time to just do it, but I like doing it manually, because as I sat here thinking about it, like using a screen scraper and having it automatically pull this data back, I don't have that time to look at all the different numbers and see if I see anything weird. I could look afterwards, but I think it would just take more time to like go through that, just as much time to go through that process. What we have here, oh my god, this reminded me. Let me zoom in on that. Felicia on both Magia Record Mobile and Anime, she had some quite a price action going on here. And you can see that here. She was $38.98. Nuts, right? December, she went down to 17 because people were buying her up and all this. And then supply hit when people noticed. Because there's a point where if your expected value of the box is over how much the box costs, it's worth it to open. That's given if you can actually sell the card itself. And what we have here was, there was a lot of people. You can see like there's 2 cards that are pretty huge. You got Felicia and Severino. That's amazing that after all this time that they've held on to some sort of value. It's really good because you're gonna want to use these cards for your deck. Why not? And overall, this is pretty good. $4.93. This is after the whole Data Live thing. Well, and right between Kaguya and 7 Deadly Sins. So you can see a little pickup. So we have FGO recap 576, Magia Record Mobile 554, and Anime 493. It's not so bad. It's actually really good. Felicia got bought out a few times. I remember going through that. I was like, she got bought up. When it comes to SPs, Champagne at 10 in the morning. Whew. That one's a little. I like my stuff on the sweeter side. This is a dry champagne that I'm drinking. This one though, this one's pretty tasty. This pink one here. I have a dish full of them, just so you can see. That was pretty cool. Like when I sabered that champagne, you can see I did 2 of them. I did 2 different ones. It's cool because it cuts it clean off like that. It's pretty awesome. Anyways, going back. Sign card. September 30th, same deal. September 30th. I was watching it all this time. I just didn't talk about it. It's just too much every week. When you take a look here, we got Yachio. Yachio gone. Currently out of stock. Sabrina, $700. Yikes. 250 went from 250 to 700. One listing. It was more like one got bought, the other one was there, and you might as well keep a high price because if someone's gonna want it, they can buy it. 4 listings of Iroha, 159.35, 190. What you're gonna notice again, over time, people start buying it out. It's either gonna drop like a rock because nobody wants it because the supply is too high. Think Kingu. When it comes to this Magia record, people like this set. There's enough people out there that would want it. There's not that huge supply of it. That's why we have the lower prices. Felicia, this price is always insane, 765. Obviously dropped over time. It's got to be within reason. There's no way that some of these things, like we have Momoko here. We have $65. She was 70 bucks. 8 supply, 70 bucks. We got 5 down this. We have 5 now. It went down how many people are selling this, but the price still went down. More again, not a lot of people buying this. There's a decent supply out there, and it just gets shoved down. Kaide here, we got 60 bucks, 68, same deal. This is one of the ones that I was talking about. If you take a look at Sana here, Sana is $110. So let me just show you that one. I point this out because there may be some people out there that want signed cards, but they look at the outside of this. Oh, I'm on the wrong set. I was like, wait a second. Like, what's the deal with Sana here? Why is she so expensive? Alright, here we go. We got... Did I just punch in the wrong one again? Sana. No, this is Sana. 110. We have Sana 110. But if you look on the outside, this thing said $110, right? 110. And 2 listings. Same deal again with this. If you click inside of it, I hate this whole picture thing. It should really list it out there. $85.99. If I click in here, I only have one picture. They didn't show the back side. There's only one picture. But as you can see, they're saying it's near mint. $110, and this one is roughly 86. That's quite a bit off. And if you wanted a Sana, here it is. Well, I would say when you go on TCG Player, and if you actually really want a card, just make sure to click in there. That's my final lesson on that one. It's one of those ones where you want to make sure to just do that, because you might be missing out on a deal that is actually there, and you just happen not to see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, anything else? Booster boxes. Booster boxes of this have gone up just because, I don't know. I don't know if it was serial numbers. Maybe it's the usability of the set. The set is more usable than the mobile set, and I don't know, because there's no real sign cards in it. Like, if you just asked me which set I would rather have outside of meta play, because this isn't, you're not likely, I'll say it that way, you're not likely to win a tournament using Magia record anything. Anime, mobile, whatever. You're not winning. More than likely, you're not going to win against, unbanned Data Live, unbanned Kaguya, unbanned anything else. More than likely, you're not going to win. If you ask me which set I would rather have, I would rather have the mobile version just because of the sign cards. If I'm going to open anything, I'm going to do it for the sign cards. Other people might say, I want the serial numbers, so we have that aspect, or the playability. And we have, on September 30th, $82.90. That's what we're looking at here. December 30th, $100. It was kind of nuts because on this TCG Player bonus bucks deal, we have $115. This one was $115 sold. There was 82s and then $115. It's like, what is happening here? That someone couldn't find any lower. I will tell you right now, there are other websites out there that have these lower. You can find them out there lower. Same deal when it comes to trial decks. There is no difference. September 30th, we have 1994. December 30th, 1994. 5 listings of that there. I point that out just because the same idea as the Magia record mobile. Magia record anime is actually even worse, because when it came to the trial decks, even though these have a potential of serial numbers in the booster box, the SPs had serial number chances, the trial deck did not at all. Trial decks only had this non-signed version, and it did not have serial numbers at all. I don't know why they wouldn't put serial numbers on these, but they didn't. And there's 2 of them. And You would think if they put serial numbers, people would have wanted it more, but they didn't. And because of that, what I've shown over time, I did that whole video about are sign cards needed. They are, because once people get enough of the cards for their max rarity deck, the non-signatures, there's not really anybody out there willing to pay tons of money to go and get the non-signed foil stamp cards that don't look as good. They rather buy the Japanese versions, and that's what actually ended up happening. What I did here also was take a look at the PRs. Nothing really exciting there. Well, overall, Magia record. Let me just zoom out. Anything else? Nope. There was nothing else that I wanted to point out on here. That's Magia record. What we got next? Bofuri. Bofuri got a lot of press, right? We had some people point out how much the price history dropped. I pointed out many times that like the place that's dropped pretty big, but it has recovered. It's been going up and down. All right, there you go. You can see it right there. Boom. What we have is, you should see what happened with this craftswoman is. It is nuts. What over time, what this lady actually did. Here she is. There she is. I do like her. She was great in the anime. You didn't see her all that much, but I liked her overall. She was a nice character. Multicolored Sally and Battle Craftswoman are your top cards here. This set is also unique in the fact that it has 12 double rares. When you take a look at the sets I just showed, there is only 10 double rares. We have 12 over here, and a lot of them are pretty pricey. Overall double rare average over the 12 is 654, and this is actually wrong. Is that wrong the whole way? Oh man. Here we go. Okay. Yikes, that looks way better. I don't think I had that wrong that whole time. It was not wrong that whole time. I think it was copy and paste because I was using it from different ones. Anyways. Yeah. Okay. What we have here is $313 and $314. There we go. We have $314. I don't know why I can't say it. $314. Overall, it's pretty pricey set. And granted, it was one of those ones that wasn't really picked up on either. You know, we had Kaguya come out and Seven Deadly Sins. Bofuri was one of those ones that really wasn't in high demand at that point. There wasn't a lot of buying of this set because of what just happened, what came out, and the pre-orders are low. I knew this was going to be a good set. I love it. It's one of those ones where it had a great following. It wasn't the strongest of decks that came out this year. You know, definitely you have Data Live and Kaguya and all that stuff. Bofuri, moderately decent. How about that? But overall, when you take a look at this stuff, it is pretty strong, pretty high. Double rares. I can't say anything more than that. Over time, this thing has been in constant battle. Multicolored Sally. What I've always said was, this stuff is out there. Don't try to buy it out. If you need it, buy it. But I want to attempt to buy things out because, as you can see here, it went from 2 sellers in, this should have been September, all the way up to 12 listings now. But value-wise, it's held pretty nicely. So you could see, like, it went from $15.25 as the supply dwindled, and then it went all the way back to $16.45. So overall, pretty decent. Sign cards everywhere. There's sign cards. Okay. I want to show you, not all this. I got to keep scrolling. Here we are. We have our sign cards. Sign cards, last I took a picture of was October 25th. When we look at December 30th, same thing. Listing for Maple. This is these two right here are your trial deck SPs, 777 and 625. We got 760 and 510. So over time it's gone up, which makes sense to me. SEC Maple 500 roughly, one less card. One of my favorite looking cards, Multicolored Sally. I just look like her rainbow hair and everything. It looks really cool. $394.99. We have 400 because that was one listing. We have two listings. Someone came in here. Overall, you get the point. This is one of those ones again over time that it has fluctuated up and down. Enough people bought it. It's not strong enough to really win a tournament with. I'm going to keep saying that. More than likely, you're not winning a tournament with this. It's fun enough to play. I think most people that play this will say it's actually a fun set. I played around with it. It's pretty fun. But I think it's one of those ones that if we ever get Anime 2 and if we get in Weiss Schwarz a set 2, that more than likely I could definitely see a reprint of the set. I can't imagine why it wouldn't. I never understood why Kanade didn't actually have a sign when everybody else did. That one was kind of weird. I don't know if anybody explained that, but I'm willing to hear it if you did. It's just odd looking that this one, unless that's a signature and I don't know it. But I think that's not a signature. I can imagine this thing getting a reprint, and some of these would actually look cool in silver. I like that one. That one could be in silver. I think that would be really cool. Or rainbow. Can you imagine a rainbow signature on there? Oh man. Even on this one too. Even on a Loving Sacrifice Maple. How cool would that be? One day, one day. Triple R's. We got triple R's. People bought triple R's. There we go. Trial deck again. Your trial decks are going to be your harder to find triple rares. Harder to find trial deck signatures. And no doubt again, path to the second level. We got this here. What else is there? Let's see. Is there anything else? Trial deck. Yeah, these are trial decks, but nobody wants them. SR moment between the two Sally. Overall, the SRs, when you take a look at them, when it comes to the booster boxes, they hold their value pretty well. Overall, like you can see here, we got 18, 20, 19, 13, and you could say there's a lot of them, 10, 9, 7, 5. Yeah, but people do buy them. Like, they hold around that number. See, market price 20, 13. People are actually buying them. It's not like people are straight up undercutting each other. And given thanks Kasumi, she is our PR 4 left, 7. You could compare the rest of them. They're all lower supply of them. So, easy way, if you don't understand this game at all, let's look at the numbers. I mean, not even say dollar amounts. Just look at the amount of listings. You have 16, 18, and you have 4. Something should stand out to you when you take a look at these things. Okay, that's Bofuri. Oh, and actually, that's not all of Bofuri. We have supply, right? We have sealed. What is our supply of sealed? Sealed. Boom. Okay, sealed. What we got here was sealed. I'm still always shocked by this. I don't know why, but I am. When you look at trial deck 20, I guess that would be 30, 37, no, 36. Trying to do math here. 8, 30, yeah, 36.99. 36.99. There's a decent number of them, but knowing what can actually come out of there, let's take a look. Trial deck. I need cards back. Give me my cards back. And then trial deck. Overall, like when you take a look at trial decks, you could do this on a different set. You'll start seeing cards for 50, 25, 20 cents. When you look at Bofuri's trial deck, here's a $3 one, here's a $1.50 one, and overall, the trial deck actually has some value. When you take a look at the triple R's, not those two, Mai and Yui, but if you take a look at the other one, triple R, SP, and just the base cards inside of it, you're going to start finding out that this trial deck is actually decently worth it. There is these trial deck displays, 175, not so many of them left. Bofuri is always one of those ones where there's just not a whole lot of it. Even though there's cards that keep appearing if people try to buy it out, there's not a whole lot of it. And I've always said, something about these $130, man. There's something someone does not want, no matter what happens, they will not let this whoever they is, they will not let these drop below $130. Oh my god, someone bought this for $199. We're at a point again with Bofuri that there's only so many left, and they're pretty pricey. You can see this nice little TCG player graph right here. Let me hit 6 months. It's nuts. I'm glad I have a bunch of these still left. Yep, that's all I'll say about that. I'm glad I have a bunch of them. And Bofuri. I really like the anime. I'm not going to sell them. I'm keeping them. Next one we got is Kaguya. I need to hurry because holy crap, I have to leave soon. Kaguya, let me click in here. What I've always said about Kaguya is it's a really good set to play with. It's one of those ones that will disappear and is going to disappear. What I mean by that is right here, you take a look here on the booster box, we have $79.99. It was $80 in the past, over $80 in the past, but it had 12 listings. And we're down to 8. Once you get rid of these two sellers, we're left down to these, which looks ugly after a little bit. Because once you get rid of these right here, which is not many, like if you add up the amount of booster boxes, you're down to this. 125, 115, 199. There's people out there that have this stuff. It's still sitting in a closet, warehouse, wherever they want it, under a bed. I don't know. There's plenty of them out there. But as you can see with TCG Player, what's currently listed, not so much left. What's been happening with Kaguya too is Kaguya has seen an increase, especially with this lady right here. We got Supreme Bliss Chica. Supreme Bliss Chica, if you want to see, is gone up fairly high. It went from $11, $10, $11 to $26. What happened here? I guess people found it playable. They found the card really looking cool. I don't know. It's a combination. But all of a sudden, and I say I don't know, more just because it's like, you could see what happened with the price. Like, did someone just wake up? Or could it be that tournaments are coming and you want a different deck? Could be. Actually, holy crap, someone bought that yesterday. When did I do this? I did this as of yesterday. Now, yesterday someone bought one of these cards for $27. It's kind of nuts. What you have left is not that many. You have 3 listings, 12 cards, and Supreme Bliss Chica is going away. Same thing with all these other cards. Here's a 16, here's a 25, here's a 9. Overall, you can see the actual play set of double rares pretty expensive. We have this times 10, and we have 266 overall. When you look at Kaguya, Kaguya held on to its price pretty nicely. I mean, it's one of those ones where people are discovering its usability. I don't know why it took so long for this to happen. I always imagined it would have happened like way back here in September when I was looking at this, because I kept saying over and over again in my videos, it's a good set, you might want to buy it. It's a good set, you might want to buy it. It's overall good. The bad part about it is it was one of those sets that didn't have signatures on it. Really sucked. So it had these foil stamps on it, and it is not all that impressive. I mean, it does look good. I mean, I had this one. My wife pulled it. I have this one. It looks nice in hand and all that, but it doesn't beat getting, this. I don't have the picture of it. Wait, hold on. I do. We got a picture of it. Let's take a look at what they originally looked like. The version that we didn't get. The sad version. We got this alien looking thing. I don't know what she drew here, but that's what she had. I would take this one over that one. This does look classy. I'm not gonna say this is terrible, but still, I want this nice touch of her drawing that on there. I think it'd just be nicer. We didn't get that. That would be your only downside to Kaguya, is the fact that we don't have that. The other downside is, are they going to make a volume 2? I was always thinking they would make a volume 2. When I heard Kaguya the first time, and I know how many anime they actually have, I always assumed they were going to make a volume 2. Without signatures, will they still do it? I don't know. I mean, they did it with Sword Art Online, right? They made one without signatures, so why wouldn't they? I just have this feeling that they wouldn't do it. Who knows? And this thing's been banned or restricted in JP enough times. Are people even feeling it after it's been hit so many times? It's not hit so many times, but it definitely got hurt by the restrictions. It was actually pretty terrible what happened there. October, what am I showing you here? We did booster boxes, trial deck, 1398. Oh, trial deck went up. Hey, by the way, trial deck went up. Trial deck went from 1398 to 1980. Supply has dropped a little bit. I don't think I've ever heard of the replacement card for the trial deck. There was that whole thing where it had 9 climaxes in it. When it was only supposed to have 8, we were shorted a card. We got an extra card of a climax and we shorted a card. And I thought there was supposed to be something that they gave back to you, to the LGS, to give to the customers. I don't know. I never got anything. Okay, that's it for Kaguya, maybe. No, that's not it. I'm not done yet. Darn it. Okay, I have to keep scrolling down. SPs 600. Oh, this is the same deal. When it comes to Kaguya, special. Okay, same deal here. Just to point it out, this one's $600. This thing is $599. The only difference is it is lightly played, just so you can keep that in mind. There is a picture of it. But more again, just reiterating, I was on this whole clicking into everything and just seeing $600, and that's really just because you have on the outside it said $600, but for people out there looking for a deal, there is this $500 one. Just make sure overall any SPs or any cards you want, just click into it and scroll down. I mean, it might be worth it to you to just scroll down and just take a look if there's any sort of other cards that are out there. Okay, all right. When it comes to SPs, what do we got? 370, 301. This is one of those ones where it just proves again. When it comes to foil, when it comes to non-signatures, people are going to get what they want and not want it ever again. And that's what's keep happening here. What we have here is I-150, 150, 8 listings, hasn't moved. K220, it dropped from 240. So up above was our October 25th, down below is current day. Just overall proving the point again to us. These, I don't know why, I just don't really care about them all too much. These KRs and SECs and all that good stuff. I don't know why, I just don't really care for them. I got this one. This one in hand looks cool. I think they probably all do look cool. Maybe it's just their chibi versions. That's probably what it is. It's what's throwing me off. It's the whole rebirth for you thing happening here. And some of these aren't even all that expensive. We got $40, $25, $38. Not some. I would have never. I just find it so odd that secret rare must mean something totally different to me. As in, this thing should be. Secret rare should be, secret rare, awesome. I don't know. I just didn't expect this card to be there. This almost looks like a going first, going second card to me. Like, if you put this as a going first, going second, I probably would have really thrilled. But since they're not, then not all that much. Triple rares, same deal. We got triple rare trial deck versions right there. And the rest are, I'm just going to say, booster boxes. See, so you have 5 booster box trial deck cards. You have 3 trial deck triple rare cards and 5 booster boxes, which is why I said Magia Record Mobile was weird in the fact that it had 4 and 4. I don't know where they come up with these ratios. Like, why is it the way it is? But with this, we have 3, and you can see they don't really carry all that much of a premium. When you look at the SRs in this set pretty high, 37, 19, 11. And you can look here with the prices. They've been bought around those prices, so they seem to hold on to their prices fairly well. What we got left? We got rares. And I don't normally show rares and commons, all that. I'm only going to show them in this video if they stand out, because normally rares are 50s, 75, 50 cents. You got this I here, $3, K, 110. I point this out because if there is ever a set 2, you just may want to watch it. I'm putting this here historically for me. Promo card, same deal. We got Kaguya. This thing was a pretty expensive one. Full sprint Kaguya, $21. There we are. That's the one you want. Just so you know. You might want to use her. 7 Deadly Sins. Oh boy. Como se dice, ouch. That's what I'm gonna say. my email, when I tried to come up with an email for this, there are so many names taken. I was like, I took Spanish. Let me just write senorbigb. And it remind me of my good old days in high school taking Spanish. It's a fun time. I went to Spain. We went on a trip to Spain. It was awesome. I went for, I think it was 10 days. Back then it was only $1,500. All included. Everything was included. It was awesome with my high school group. Went to a lot of castles. You can't imagine how many castles there are in Spain, but there's a lot of freaking castles. They took us to a lot of them. And at some point, you've seen too many castles. They all just all look the same. They're whitish looking and all of that. Old and white. But we went during the World Cup, and they told us not to go outside because we were in Barcelona at the time when they were playing. It was nuts. It was awesome. It was a good time. I got lost in Spain. Me and some girl went out at night. We weren't supposed to go out there, but we went out there and we got lost. And then when we got back, we were totally past curfew. And I definitely got yelled at by our principal. He was like, "You're not supposed to go out there. What happens if we lose you?" and all that. I get it. It was not a good thing, but it was a fun time. We were just trying to live our lives. This is the start of our December 31st pricing because I couldn't do it all last night. It was rough. 7 Deadly Sins, awful, just terrible. Too many people bought it. I told everybody, I'm like, you might want to be super careful on this one. Some people listened, some people didn't, and this is where we're at. Right now, 91.48 when it comes to double rare, and I'm not even going to talk about this. This is just terrible. Outside of Melodious, I've always said this card was super good. I don't know how many people believe me. When this set first came out, I was like, this card is so good. I don't know why this thing is so cheap and why Deanne was way higher. And I felt like that hurt me because I felt like Melodious here should have been higher priced. And you can see 37 Deanne, Merlin 31 sellers, 22 here, 22. Even though I say 22 sellers, it's more just the point that there's not as many people got bought out over the time. You can scroll down here and see 52 from this seller. We got a decent amount of supply out there. It's not going away anytime soon. I think if you wanted to play Weiss Schwarz and you wanted an actual deck, not just a trial deck, but an actual real deck, this is the one you go for. You're going for 7 Deadly Sins. It's playable and it's cheap. This is the one you really want to go for. Playset. This is when I was actually doing these actual playsets. $189. $190 is what it's going to cost. And I never even changed these numbers because these numbers are probably way lower at this point. So with day one rares, uncommons, climax, promo prices, we're looking at $190. And I bet if I look at the promos right now, that is going to change. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, because these were let's say almost $2. Now it's down another $1. So even less. There we are. Look at these. Overall change. Negative 69%. That is painful. Trial decks. Let's go to our signs here. And then update that. I kind of gave up. Oh, I started mapping out all the different booster box cases. I actually wrote them out. You can see over time, it's just dropped. It's nothing pretty. But when you take a look at the case, I'm actually real surprised that cases 62 times 16, 992. It's more just the fact that cases were selling for 850, 888, 850. You can see someone bought two of them at one time. That is a madman right there. That dude wanted it. And I'm not gonna say anything bad about it, because if you want that sign, if you want them playmats all there, you want to make sure no one messed with it. Yeah, go ahead and buy that master case. That's what actually ended up happening there. And you saved a bit of price. $992, $850. I mean, it's pretty cool. Supply sets, what I've said over time was supply sets are, just I actually did that video on it recently. I priced it out for you. There you go. There's too many of them. Without that promo card that we had in RWBY, there's too many of them. There's just nobody wants all these supply sets. It gets real ugly when you start looking at these things. Don't invest in these things unless you have a long-term view. Like these supply sets are worth stuff. I'm just gonna say that it's worth money. I'll just prove it right now. Supply sets over time, they do go up, because as more people find out about Weiss Schwarz, they want, you want the chance at boosters packs because you want to open something. You want the deck, you want the sleeves. Over time, they're gonna be worth something, but at the beginning, no one's gonna want them. You only want so many of them. If the person really wanted it, they would have bought it for themselves. But we are starting to see here, we have Cardcaptor Sakura, Batman Ninja, even Adventure Time, Mob Psycho's Mob Psycho. But this thing was heavily bought into, and there wasn't that bonus of a PR card as RWBY had. And you're definitely seeing that. With a huge drop-off in booster packs, it only makes sense that this thing is going to just sit here forever. Because if I wanted booster packs, I would just bought the booster box. If I wanted a deck and sleeves, I'll buy one, maybe two. But I'm not going to buy 14 of them. That's for sure. 12 or 10. And I don't think most people will. Let's just take a look. Yeah, no. Ones, fives. Holy crap. I like how I just said that. Here's the person that bought 5 of them. I wonder why. I wonder what you do with 5 of these or 6 of these. Maybe it was just because it was really cheap. They wanted to get it for their friends. Who knows? That's just insane. I never would have thought I would have saw the day that someone bought 6 of those at one time. But we don't actually know what they're doing with it. Okay. And SPs. Come on, baby. Let's go. I put these at the bottom. All right. Here we are. October 25th. When it comes to SPs, this was an English exclusive, meaning there's some signatures and there's not some signatures. There, as you can see here, we have Bon and we have Hop. No signatures. They just got these stamps on them. Where is my man Melodious? Wait. There he is. I just had to zoom out. Hold on. There he is. Okay. So, Elizabeth, this is our trial deck, 330, 240. The reason for that is we know that trial decks normally hold a premium on their sign cards because they're harder to pull. Unfortunately, when it came to 7 Deadly Sins, too many people bought it. Trial decks, $841. As we saw with Magia record, they're like $20. When we saw FGO, they are, what would I say, like 80? Whatever that high price trial deck was. No, it was in the 40s. It's in the 40s. Even Kaguya is at $20. This thing, $8.41, which means people can just tear it open. The trial deck display is disgusting. Just utterly disgusting to me. If I bought a ton of these, I'd be throwing up right now. I mean that as exaggerated. I'm exaggerating when I say I'm throwing up on it, but I'd be highly disappointed in myself if I were to have bought them for $100 and now it's only $58. You almost lost half your money right there. And it's not a loss until you sell. Wall Street bets. But it's not a loss until you sell. And in this case, yikes. I don't know how much you buy these from a distributor level or anything like that. No clue how much these things cost. All I know is when I stare at these numbers, I'm like, holy crap! You're definitely trying to get rid of them. If you're pricing them at $58.75, this one at least has shipping attached onto it. And but yeah, think about it. This is 7 of them. There's 8 in a case of these, so there's 48 individual pieces. This person is, I don't know if they sold one already, but dang, they had a case and they're selling them for $58.75. That is nuts. I mean, just do the math, right? $58.75 divided by 6. $9.79 for a full display of them. If you wanted just a single, $8.41. That's my point. If you wanted to play Weiss Schwarz, even though this trial deck sucks, this is what I do. If I had a friend that wanted to play Weiss Schwarz, I don't have a friend that wants to play Weiss Schwarz. These even rejected me, man. That hurt. That hurt. I thought she would actually attach herself and play one of them, but I thought she'd play RWBY. Didn't happen. But that's how it goes. Anyways, so just take a look here. Ban, he was a lovable character. People were disappointed he had no signature, but in the end, people still love him. 175 to supply back in October. We have 200 and only 2 left. King sucks. People didn't like him. I thought he was all right. I mean, he wasn't the greatest, but overall, we got 10 listing, 98, 6 listing, 112. You can see what happened with these SPs. People are picking them up over time. That's what's going to happen. I would imagine that happens with RWBY. I'll talk about RWBY later. Triple R, full counter. Everybody says I don't have one. Everyone says it looks beautiful in hand. 1650. It's something that you are going to use with your Melodios. Obviously, if you're using that combo, but yeah, good card, good combo, and it makes sense that people want to max rarity it because the card looks really cool. Apparently, SR Elizabeth, options for disguise. People just like this kind of art. Good overall. I don't know. You just take a look. We got SRs. They're there. I'm trying to hurry. I'm sorry. Not my best work, but you get the point. Like characters, looks, usability. I hope that sinks in. If you don't understand why something is worth, like after all these videos I've done, like if you don't understand why this thing is $16.50 or this thing is $14, feel free to ask. Just ask. I want you at this point to send me an email or write it in the comments. Just ask me why this doesn't make sense to you. But to me, it makes full sense. I put these uncommons here because normally uncommons are worth like 20, 25 cents. These things are 109. I think they're really cool just because it's their wanted poster, every one of them. We have Bond here, no surprise. Deanne, King, all of them. There. And promos, I just put promos here for the heck of it. Will we ever see a volume 2? I think that's never going to happen. But hey, I mean, if it does show up, that'd be neat to see. Heaven's Feel. Heaven's Feel. Oh God, Heaven's Feel. I say oh God because it ticks me off what they did with the SEC. SEC upsets me. Okay, quickly, double R's. Awful, just terrible. This is along the lines of 7 Deadly Sins. I told you be careful. Some people, again, listened. Some people did not. In the end, it was terrible because not only did you have a set that was just, it was good, but no signatures. You had a set that there was tons of people buying into. It was just a recipe for utter disaster, which it ultimately was. And let's take a look here. I don't really care about this card, as in the double rares. That's all I want to say about the double rares. It's just gonna look ugly. $100. We got playset $197, which is decent, but if you bought it at $300, that hurt you a bit. Let's see. Let's take a look. We have our signature cards, which are not signed. These were along the lines of the whole Aniplex deal, which is why if we ever see Fate Grand Order, the whole reprint, I wonder if we will ever see it, and I don't think we should, if we actually get signed cards with attached to it from the original. When it came to these, this obviously was not a signed card. These were your foils. People had issue with the symbols themselves because it didn't match the characters that actually had said symbol. They could have had some diversity there. My huge issue was that SEC that was right there on the screen. My thing with the SEC was the fact that it's a terrible card. You have a terrible card. Secret rare means to me secret. It's the highest rarity of Weiss Schwarz in this set. And as you can see here, there's 8 listings of it, $187. When you take a look at these other ones, you have Sakura here, $370. You have Ren, $240. This is a terrible choice, I think, of a SEC. I don't know why you would do that. Just give it a better card. Give it a better ability. Give it something. Make it rare. Or throw in a second SEC. And let's not complain about that, but it really ticks me off. As you can see here, characters, art, whole deal, usability. We see Shiro here in the back of the line, 7420. He's hanging out there with Kingu. We got Ilya here, 8822. This overall, this set is not good for the amount of people that bought into this thing. Just show you here the supply of double rares. That's all I want to point out. 27, 30, 39, 32, 36. Terrible. And that pretty much shows you why the playset is as low as it is. Promos do nothing. Yep. Promos are nothing. And this is one of those sets where there was no trial deck. All you got was booster boxes. So let's take a look at sealed. Booster boxes, $69.95. Cases, $10.19. The history of that, just so you can see, is right here. $69.95. Case, $10.19. Obviously, 2 months have gone by and not really much has changed. People have forgotten about this set. It's not one of the memorable ones, right? Like when you think back on this year, do you remember this set even came out? Even though it's been a couple months ago? Probably not. I would actually like to do a quiz on that. Like, how many people, like if you could name, I want you to name all the sets that came out this year. Like which ones come to mind first? And which ones are the ones you're like, I think this one came out? I don't know. This would be, I feel like one of the sets that people have totally forgotten about. And it makes sense to me why. Triple rares. Triple rares right here. 15, 8, 6. I mean, the triple rares aren't even all that great. SRs, we got some decent ones. 15, 13, 13. I know I'm just pointing out numbers. I'm not pointing about meta playable cards and all that good stuff. Because you don't need to know that. All you need to know is the dollar amounts. Because with the dollar amounts, you can back into that. It's easy to do. There's a reason why people are buying it. There's a reason why there's only so many listed. There's a reason why they cost so much or why they cost this little right here. Okay, that's it. Slime 2. I love Slime 2. I love the anime and I love Milim, and I'm so happy that she had that card. It's Delicious Milim. It's Delicious Milim. She's doing really well, rocking it out. 680. She's single-handedly holding this sucker up. This thing is 88.56 overall. That is really, really terrible. And when you take a look here, 204.93 is the playset value, which is better than not Fate Grand Order, Heaven's Feel. It's better than Heaven's Feel too, 204.93. There has been a decent amount of buying. So if you're just wondering, let's just take a look here. People have not forgotten this set. As you can see, December 26th, there is a lot of buying. If you take a look here, December, I don't know, something about Christmas time. Because people just felt like buying stuff. That's what happens with Christmas, right? Like, people go into this whole spending mindset. Or maybe just thought it was a good price for the card. Who knows? Okay, let's see. We got Shion here. And we got Shizu and Shuna. But Shion, this is my card. I love this card. I just think it's cool looking. Anyways, what we got here is overall Shuna and Shion held their price 3% up from the last, which was 1 month ago. Overall, these SPs have held up really nice. Again, because they have signatures. They aren't stamped foils or anything like that. Overall, Slime is a set that people love. It's usable, which is the best part, right? It's usable. It has a good anime following. The cards actually look really nice. It was just one of those sets that was way overbought. One of those ones that I've always said that if you have the long-term ability to hold out on it, then you should, because that's really, really good. Okay. Promo, not really much there. SR, there we go. Meline 1368, not as much. We got triple rares, again, not as much. And you could see why. There's a whole lot of them. 12, 22, 25. You could see this set was definitely opened a lot. A lot of people really wanted these cards, and it just shows. But it proves how much people like the anime. The reason why I put the promos out here is because Anti-Magic Mask, this was a reprint from the trial deck of Volume 1. It's not going to be all that usable for Volume 2, but if you needed it for Volume 1 stuff, there you go. Anti-Magic Mask, you don't have to buy like the crazy trial deck. What happened with the price of Anti-Magic Mask from the trial deck is obviously has gone down, which is nice, so people don't have to try to scrounge up a trial deck or literally buy the Anti-Magic Mask. Slime. Oh, and yeah, that's really it. I know I went through that fast. Oh, actually, no, that's not it. Let's go with, let's take a look at the sealed, right? We didn't look at the sealed. Where are we with sealed? Sealed, 45. See, this is why you can't look on the outside. Do not, if you ever want to buy something, going back to that whole thing, do not look on the outside. You have to click in. Because when you click in, you see 45 plus $14.99. Overall, this thing has, oh my god, 46. I just see it if there's any other big ones. Here's a 16 and a 15. Anyways, overall, this thing's gonna need some time to get rid of. People are gonna need to get out of it. I mean, you just bought too many of them. I mean, like without pre-ordering and all that, like having people pre-order from you. If I was a store, I would try to get as many pre-orders as I can, and then not have people maybe do a deposit, not make people pay up. But if I was a store myself, holy crap, my wife scared me. I didn't realize she was about to come home. I actually thought you were home this whole time. Anyways, when it comes to this stuff, it's gonna take a while. I would probably, if I was a store, I would most likely try to pre-order, make people pay a deposit or at least express interest, then probably buy like a case or two over that. It's probably what I would do. I know people are just somewhat, I don't want to judge them on their businesses, but I feel like you're just buying a ton of them and thinking people are going to buy it, and Weiss is just, you know, there's players to absorb. That's not actually the case here. It's not going to happen this way. So hopefully going into 2022, there's changes to the actual way people like buy this stuff and look to sell it. So that is Slime 2. Next, SAO. SAO 2. Only thing we gotta say about this is serial numbers, right? Double rares. This thing was open like crazy because everybody wanted serial numbers. You had people offering $5,000, $10,000, $1,000, $2,000 for serial numbers, and that's what took place. People were buying a ton of this stuff, and they weren't going to stop until they ripped open a serial number. Because of that, double rares. We have 258 overall playset, 220 booster boxes. Let's just take a look at them, because obviously there's a finite supply of this stuff. If you were to have a ton of people Willy Wonka this thing, which is what happened, we ended up having $71 as what's left. $71.99. 10 sellers. And keep in mind, there are plenty of people that have this still sealed, hidden somewhere, because they want to keep it, and they're gonna open it one day. Because the real gamble with this one is, if all the serial numbers aren't found, then that means someone's holding on to it, and maybe they're worth something, or maybe you want to open. Wouldn't that be crazy? 20 years from now, you're old and you're just reliving your nostalgia time, and you open the box and you pull a serial number. That'd be really cool. I think it'd be awesome, and that's what's actually gonna happen. So the fact that not all of these have been pulled yet pretty much shows that these things are going to be worth it in the future. I know people like really made fun of the whole serial number, it's going to be worthless and all that crap, and it's some sports nonsense. It's basically proven at this point that you might not agree with it, but someone definitely values these serial numbers. And when we take a look, oh, I actually wrote this down. SPs, same deal. Serial number is worth a lot. Non-serial number is not worth a lot. Same as what I've been saying. It's not going to appeal to people. So we got Asuna here 235. As you can see over time, this thing is going to keep dropping, and the supply just keeps growing more and more. That's all you need to know about it. When people tear these open, they're thinking that they're going to be able to sell all these non-serial number foils, and that's not actually the case. People don't want them. You don't want something that doesn't have a signature on it. You don't want something that doesn't have a serial number on it, and that is just proven. And this thing is just going to keep going down. So, I mean, when you tear these things open, when you are serial number hunting, just keep in mind, good luck trying to sell all the other cards that go with it, because that is not something that is going to be really, really doable. Triple rares, yeah, I mean, they sell, but look at this. There's 22, 21, 27. That's easily how you can tell supply of how much is really being opened. Just look at the triple rare. You don't get a lot of them, but if you see 22 sellers out there, you know that there's a ton of people opening this thing. Look at this, 33 on SRs, 1375. I mean, they hold up pretty nicely just because Asuna, and then there's a little weight with Alice, but overall it's Asuna. People are targeting these things to buy her up, but look at that market price. Look how far it's dropped down from. Not so pretty. Oh, and one of the things that I saw, like, I think it was around December 19th, about 2 weeks ago, the voice actress for Yuna, she passed away, 35, Sayaka Kanda. I loved you as Yuna. You were awesome. So, it stinks. And don't be buying her up just because she died. That'd be awful. Oh, no, I don't like that stuff. When people just start buying up everything because voice actress died or something like that. You're not going to find her SP anyways of Yuna. It's completely gone. Promos, not really anything. I put this one out here that's uncommon. Endless Summer by the Beach, Alice and Asuna. I can imagine one day somebody just buying a ton of these things because it's Asuna and she's in a bathing suit. That's probably going to happen at some point. Okay, Quince, I love the Quince. Overall, they've held on nicely, I think. When you take a look here, what I mean by nicely is double rare average. We have 192. We know with this set, double rares aren't the main thing. It's the double rare pluses. So you can actually see here, pretty nuts. It's in the green. Double rare averages, double rare pluses are right here. And when you see, there is not a negative to be seen at all. They're all positive. They've grown in price. Ichika, Miku, Itsuki, and Nino have grown. I mean, Yotsuba 0%, but that doesn't mean she went down. Overall, these cards, you're going to want to have them for your respective decks when it comes to a waifu deck, and you can see why, because these things are pretty pricey and they hold their value in just because they are playable. When it comes to double rares, you got more of them in the case than you got than the double rare pluses. You got the normal amount, and some of them actually held on nicely as well. You're going to want to have them because speculation-wise, and I believe this to be true, we will see Quince Volume 2 in English. If we do see them in English, you're going to want some of these cards to play with for Volume 2. Ooh, I did this fancy one. I do love the Quince. I mean, I made this fancy little chart here. Quince, we have overall, this is the trial deck SPs, the one that came from the Quintessential set, the one that was guaranteed, the one that I always thought was, it was messed up because you're guaranteed it and people were paying, like, the Quintessential set itself costed $200 and people were paying $209.99 for a Nino. And I've always said I understood why, because it's easier to buy the single than just opening 4 random ones and hoping you get 4 Ninos, which is not going to happen ever. But overall, these things were sold. Itsuki was actually sold out a while there. She was so low. I don't even understand why. The whole 100 on her. Now it's 154. She sold 2 at 154. Booster SPs, booster boxes. Again, when it came to the booster boxes, there were no signatures. Right? You see it right here. This is your big one. It's Nino. I love this art. Or this picture. I just like it because the hair tie thing, but I know other people out there like it for other reasons. And the reason, if you actually pulled it, you like it because of the price. It's 189, totally exceeds the other ones. 88 on Miku, 62 on Yotsuba. Each cut, you can see it all across the board. They actually do sell, because here are the sales: 61336, and Nino there. It was sold out for a while there. There was a time period where that was sold out, but you could see as things sell out, people always come in, and this set is definitely opened. Hanayomi Rare, remember they look like this. No signatures or anything like that, but these come from the manga art. Anything in red is one it actually sold out. We had Nino sell out and is currently sold out, 300. We have Ichika sold out as well, and the other girls here have only so many. Itsuki has 8, Miku 5 left, and Yotsuba 3. And prices on them are pretty pricey. You got 1 per case, so that was decent odds, and that was some nice value there. With the SSPs, these don't sell as much. I remember when I said these things are $650 and below. They should be $650 below. I still hold on to that. Reason being is, yeah, you could sell 1 or 2 here or there above 800, and some of the girls should be worth more, I think. Like Miku, there's enough following for it that if you leave it out there, someone's going to buy it eventually over $650. However, there's some of these girls that, even though like this Nino here or this Itsuki, like Itsuki, well, I'm going to just use Itsuki. Even though Itsuki is $750, that doesn't mean someone's going to buy it for $750. You can see over time there's 5 sellers and there's no sales. 4 and 5 sellers, no sales. I bet you drop down under $650, people are going to buy it. That's where I came to that conclusion that some of these prices are not worth it over $650, and I still hold on to that. And you can see it reflected by how many people actually buy this. All right, Ichika here was bought in the 500s. Quintessential set, I was talking about that before. Yeah, if you buy 5, you should get all 5 girls, but there's that guy that got 2 Ninos. So it's not a guarantee. Not a guarantee at all. 209, there's only 4 listings. These things, there was a ton of them, and then they get bought out right away. So booster boxes, I know people are worried about the supply of booster boxes, but if you take a look here, $72. That's pretty good for it. I think this is one of the sets that people opened a lot of. Maybe they were reserved and didn't buy too many of, but in the end, it's holding its price nicely. I have no issues with what happened with Quints. And I always knew that eventually that this whole buying a ton of the stuff is going to die down, and it did there. You can see the Quintessential set trial decks are being sold individually, which is pretty neat to see. SRs, as you imagine, the booster box SRs are going to be worth more because inside the Quintessential set you got the SRs, so not really going to talk much about it. What you're really looking for are some of these triple rares that come from the booster. Not triple rares, these are SRs. No, these are triple rares. I marked it wrong. I knew it. I'm like, dude, they're climaxes. What's happening here? You want these triple rares from the set, from the booster boxes. They're worth pretty much. Like you can even see, like let's see, what's that one's $12.50. This one's $15.49. Pretty decent. SRs. Now we get the SRs. Here we are. We got Christmas Nino and we got Itsuki. I know Itsuki was being bought more because of Volume 2. We got, so there's some pretty nice ones here. I just will say again, it's like this one actually comes from the Quintessential set. You can see the TE. Here we go, $20. I don't know why it's priced at 20. This one's priced at 6. They were bought at 6. It's probably just people just putting it up there hoping people would buy it. I don't know. What else we got? PR cards. Take a look at PR cards. 5. There you go. You could have got them. You got them in the Quintessential set, right? I thought you got them in the Quintessential set. These are your booster box ones, and they're pretty low. More to the point, showing how much were available, how many were opened. Miku here, though, there's like 11 of her. Oh, people on in that. Data Live. I'm moving on. I only got like 20 minutes. Data Live. What we have with Data Live is people are buying into Kurumi again. We got Date a Bullet, which helps spur that up a little bit. You don't really have to use this card inside of the Data Bullet set when it comes to Terrible Spirit Kurumi. There is also the sheer fact that there is tournaments coming back. So with tournaments, you're going to want to probably play with Data Live. You can see here the overall average went up. 132, so you're missing the boat if you were holding off on buying some of this stuff. It is... Oh, actually, there's one more. We have another card that went up. There it is. Look familiar? It's a usable card. Just to tell you, $7.99 went up 600%. Is that math right? Yeah, 600%. That's nuts. So... there you go. If you wanted reliable Sister Katori, she's up there. I mean, she originally was at, like, if you look back here, not even originally, but if you look back here in May, she was $15. But overall, if you bought somewhere in here, that's pretty nice since it's $8 now. The trial deck has gone up pretty decently as well. Let me just find it here. Let me just scroll up. I'm going to just bring up the TCG player. We're going to go back to TCG player. We're going to take a look. Terrible Spirit Kurumi, sad face. This thing was so much money. Now it's not. I feel bad for anybody that bought it for $2,000 and they reprinted it on you. And then throw in those silver signatures. That would have helped out a lot. But we are going to look at sealed, right? Sealed. Sealed. Trial deck. 89. 89. Oh, man. All right, 89.89 for trial decks. Freaking nuts when you think about it. 89.89. It was in the 60s, $69, but now it's 89. There's only 5 listings left. If you do some quick math here, 89.89 times 6. The reason why I do that, it says 539. This thing is 449. Pretty good deal, especially when you consider there are triple rares to be had and there's SPs to be had. So if you buy one of these, not only do you get 6, but you have a shot at triple rares and an SP. I know not everybody's hunting for triple rares or SPs, so that's probably the reason why you buy a trial deck. But if you were the people that are hunting, this is your better deal. Not only is it sealed in a thing of 6, you don't have to worry about that, but even price-wise, it makes sense. When you take a look at SPs, we know SPs got hurt real bad. When they reprinted, they literally destroyed it because they did not do what they're doing with the reprints for Slime, which is having silver prints. And you can see they basically got 40 to 60% in origami. Geez, $59. And trial deck here. This is your trial deck versions right here. So I know this hasn't sold for $1,700, but again, this thing is a usable card. Confrontation with Humans Toka is a usable card. We have Confrontation with Spirits Origami, $245, not so much. Let me just go trial deck. Because we know with the trial deck, here we go, Confrontation with the Human Toka. This is a card that you're going to want to use in your deck. And it is showing here, this is a trial deck card. And we know with trial deck cards, there's some of them that are expensive. If you see a trial deck card that's really expensive, you know it's a good card. No matter what, and in this case, yes, it is. It is $18-ish. Back in the day, it was in the 20s, but even that's because more people put up supply. Okay, what else? Oh, when it comes to sealed, this is very interesting to me. That's not right. I know it's not right. Let's see, sealed. I'm gonna get the secret rare off. Give me sealed. It actually, I didn't notice this until just today. I don't understand why there's a second edition. When it came to this reprint, it wasn't a second edition. It was a reprint. The only difference was, the only way you would ever tell, unless they had a date on there, I didn't buy any of the second edition. But the only way you could tell is if you pull one of the cards that got errata, like the PR card, Kurumi. If you pulled that and saw the wording updated, that's how you know it was a reprint version. But outside of that, there's no difference. I don't know why there's this difference. I'm not gonna say I want to be shady and put like this reprint box under this here, but oh, actually, never mind. I take it back. There's one other thing that is different about it. Jeez, that just hit me all of a sudden. The one thing that you can tell is different about it is there's no playmat. You don't get the playmat, right? You don't get a Data Live playmat. Data Live playmat. Here you go. This playmat does not come with the reprint. $32, dang. $33, pretty pricey. So you did not get that with an actual reprint. Outside of that, like to know it's a case, I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine that's that big of a difference though. But maybe that's worth it to have it separate. I mean, I guess you'd be upset if you didn't get a playmat. If you bought this thing and you didn't get a playmat. Yeah, there it goes. It actually says that right there. It does not include the stitch playmat. The playmat's nice. I like it. That is it for. I want to scroll down. Second edition. I made notes to myself. Triple rares. There you go. Triple rare. This is inside of the trial deck. $28. SR. This is the SR. Well, no, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the promo. But you can see this SR Kurumi. I mean, swimsuit Kurumi, $60. And promo. Here, this is the one. This is the one that got errata. If you were to pick up a second edition case and you found the new wording on it, that would be why. And as you can see, it was way overpowered when it didn't have the errata on it. All right, let's go. Data Bullet. Data Bullet was one of those ones that came out, and there was a lot of weirdness that happened on it. The foil was... the foil version was almost equal to the non-foil version. Since then, we've had some separation, which is really, really nice. It makes sense to me because you could see the different, like how much this dropped versus the foil dropping, because this definitely needed to change, because if you had to play a foil version or a non-foil version, I know some people don't like foil versions. Like that's a thing. But I would imagine there should be some more premium on the foil than non-foil, and that's what happened. It finally separated away from each other. 273 versus 156. We got Queen here, 281, 133. And that makes sense to me. There's some kind of separation. The reason why I like this set, but I don't like this set, is the fact that all these parallel versions, they all look the same. I mean, I get it. This one doesn't have the box here. It's up there. Or the wording is up there. There's no box and all that good stuff. There's different foiling aspects and all that. But the lack of alternate images, I don't like as much. It just hurt. We could talk about the playset average when it comes to foil, non-foil. Has that premium there, like I've talked about. There's a bit of a premium here. When it comes to foil versus non-foil. When it comes to SPs, why did I call it booster SP? Oh, I took it from Quints. There we go. Oops. I just need to delete that. I mean, they're still boosters, but I use this. I use the Quints to make this sheet. What we got here is Zafkiel Kurumi. Where is she? Oh, she's not here. Zafkiel Kurumi. I want to bring up this card because this card looks so nice. Freaking nice. $701.99 is what you're looking at for her. She's went up in price. How many sales have there been? There's been 2 sales. Clashing with Emotions. These, when it comes to these triple rare ones, they don't, not triple rares, climaxes. When it comes to these climaxes, they don't seem to be going fairly well. You can see it price-wise, $289. Not really. There's 0 sales, actually. I was going to say not really any sales, but actually it's no sales. We got Queen here. Queen's been selling. She sold 3. She sold one of these errors that is right here. Again, there was an error when it came to signature. She was missing a signature, even though it was an SP. Let's just zoom in there. You can see down there it says SP, 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 no signature. Stinks, but that guy made $1,000, so hey, why not? Errors always work out for somebody. OFRs, I think the OFRs look just really nice. With the OFRs, Kurumi, she sold. I mean, they both sold 7, which is nice. You got Queen, Nightmare Queen, and then we got Girl Entwined with Nightmare's Kurumi. I know it's not, again, I said at the beginning, no alternate art, but I mean, still, the OFR looks pretty. It looks pretty sweet. I mean, overall, the card looks sweet. If I got that as an OFR, whatever. I'm not gonna complain about that. Surprise sets, as I mentioned with surprise sets, they threw the PR card in the freaking extra booster. That sucked because that was the only real reason to buy this thing. I mean, you might have wanted the sleeves and all that, but this was the bonus. The bonus was the PR card, the shiny PR card that was inside. Without that shiny PR card, I can't imagine how many of these would sell. The fact that the shiny PR card and then the extra booster pretty much tells me I would not buy this at this point. Me personally, I wouldn't buy it. We don't know how many are out there. Like, if you were going to buy it, maybe you buy 1. If you still want it, you maybe buy 4 or just buy it when it appears in the open market. I don't know. You do what you want to do. I bought 4 of them before all of that happened. So do I regret that decision? Probably not. I mean, in the end, I want the card. It's disappointing. How about that? It's just disappointing to me. Extra boosters, $27.89. That's super low. It is really low, especially where you could have got them for like $30, $35 as a person. Again, distributor price is different. But overall, this is one of those ones I know will be worth it in the future, long term. It's going to be a good one. RWBY. Last one, RWBY. All right. RWBY never ceases to amaze me. 409. There's not 4. Actually, it's $4. I don't know where this. Oh, it's an average. That's why we got like freaking 9.9 of a cent on here. And overall, this thing is still holding up. I don't know if it's because of the global delays. This actually should be 12, 22. 22. There we are. 1222. Global delays, maybe not everybody has it all or anything like that, but overall holding up decently well. I think there is enough people out there that want this set, want to buy this set, so it's doing decent. Let's go with that. December 23rd, these are what SPs look like. I go back again to whoever's comment that said, someone voted out there that I'm not going to buy this junk, these SPs are going to hit $50 and maybe I'll buy some then. I'm like, I wonder if you're still saying that, because there is so many people out there that like RWBY, that want to collect it, that say they want to have an SP or at least max rarity, this sucker. If you take a look at this one right here, Ruby Rose, just take a look at what happened here. Ruby Rose. Look at this thing. There's enough people that bought this, and it wasn't at $50. No matter how much you say you hate the signature, how much you say the art sucks, there's enough people out there that says they like the art. Like my niece. She said she preferred that over the Quints. And she just liked it. You know what you got when you did it. And in the end, people that like this can overlook the art. People that like I was going to say anime, but we know that's not true. But I'm going to use anime. I don't care. People that like the anime itself, they're going to overlook it because they watched it. They know what they expect when they watch the series. They know the art wasn't the greatest, but at the same time, they love the story, and that's all it comes down to in the end. And that's what you're seeing here, right? Like when you see RWBY, it's like, geez, holy crap. A lot of these sign cards, here we go, 4 listings. I know people buy, people sell, people up, add another one, 276. So people are getting into this and they are buying it. Yang here, 1 listing, $194.99. Yang, we got 2 listings, and now it's at $300. Now, trial decks, as expected, as always, trial decks are going to be more expensive. We see that here, 2 listings, no sold, but that's fine because that's what happens with trial decks. They're more expensive, so it takes a while before they actually do sell, but people will eventually buy it. Same as they did with Bofuri. Pure showed up. SEC. Again, one of the freaking disappointments that I have with Weiss Schwarz. I don't understand this. Your thing is a secret rare. Why the heck are you pricing your secret rare Or why are you putting your secret rare out there with no signature? You got no. It's a usable card. I'll give you that. But there's no signature on here. You're gonna put her as your signature, as an SEC with no signature, and you're seeing it reflected right here. We got 6 and we got 13 listings, 322. There's not as many sold, and it's even dropping in price. RWBY Rare. It's hilarious because you can't actually find these RWBY Rares on TCG Player, like on the scroll thingy here. That's why I kept forgetting them. They're labeled RBR, but you don't actually have an ability to pick it. So you have to find them. So I just listed them out down here below. Decently enough people are buying them. The Yang, which I think is not the greatest looking one. That's my least favorite, is the highest one. Again, there are reasons to why that is, but overall, they do sell. Yeah, they do sell. Right? It's better than Pyrrha, who got 13 of these. Just think of it this way. Pyrrha appears less in the cases than these things do. But somehow these RBRs are more expensive than, or more bought than this thing up here. Not this thing, but Pyrrha. It's sad, man. I mean, I can't say it enough how, why are you picking SECs and not even putting signatures on them? You might as well shove this down there in the RBR section. It's sad. Okay. All right. Trial decks, booster cases. Not really much to say about these. It's normal. 18, 120. Booster boxes. Booster box, though, I will say something about that. Booster box are ugly. When you look at it, it's $53. Just because there's a decent supply of them. People will buy it over time. It's not as bad as 7 Deadly Sins. I think it's partly because of the whole people are a little more wary about card collectibles versus 7 Deadly Sins oversupply. That's what's happening there with that. RWBY supply set. I made a video on this week about reverse scalping, and then I actually told you what my price of this thing is actually going to be. Like I was saying, it's $11.50, $20 if you don't value the deck box or anything like that. $35,405. People have been buying these like crazy. It's nuts. Look at it. After I made that video, I'm not saying my video caused this at all, because there's only so many people that watch me, but you can see how many sales have happened recently. If there isn't a supply of these that is just still coming, then you're going to be running out of these supply sets really soon. We had, I think it was like 10 or 12. I have to go back to that video of listings. Now we're down to 8. And as I showed, you see this list here. That's a lot of people buying. The reason why I say $11.50 or $20, if you subtract out the deck box, go back to that video if you haven't seen it, about the reverse scalping. Take a look at this. This is nuts. First off, I am not dissing you if this is you. There is no way this thing should be selling for $50 ever. After that video came up, after I made that video, there was a seller that put these up for $20, and three cards for each girl at $20, and they all they're either still there or sold. As you saw that one, it's gone. Like the Weiss ones is gone for $20. Which blows my mind. When you take a look at RWBY, it's still there. When you take a look at Yang, it's gone. When you look at Blake, it's gone. See, these were being bought for $20. I'm like, dang, dude. I can't imagine like someone buying these things for $20. I know $11.50 was break even, but still, like, if it was me, I would just buy the supply set, right? Why wouldn't you just buy the supply set? You could use that quintessential logic on me. Quintessential set logic, where it's like, I just want that particular card, I don't care about anything else. I know I could buy this for $34, but I could just pick the card I want for $20. I get it, but dang, I mean, for me, I have a hard time doing that, just knowing that I could buy this for $34, get booster packs, maybe pull a sign card, give it to a friend, like I give it to my niece, and I take the promo card, she gets something, I get something. I think that would be cool. But dude, I just can't believe that people are buying these things for $20. It's nuts. Not to say that's like a winning strategy. It's not like you buy this thing. I know this is different from a store. Let's say as a store you bought this thing for $20. I could see why this is a winning strategy if you're a store. I buy it for $20. I sell one single card for $20. I know there's taxes and shipping and all that crap. Let's just ignore that. You get all your money back, and you have booster packs that you could sell. You could attempt to sell the deck box. You could attempt to sell the sleeves, or open them and find the signature card or triple rare or something in there. It's just nuts to me how much that one is like money, just straight up money for the way it is. But overall, supply set, it's gonna be a good one. If you want some of these cards and you can't find them on TC, first off, I'm gonna tell you, do not buy that $50 one. I apologize if you're the guy selling it, but the $50 ones is insane since you can buy them for $35. Right? Just buy the freaking supply set. You might as well gamble on 5 booster pack and a random promo card at that point. Maybe trade with somebody. Right? Someone's bound to pull a duplicate. Trade with that person. But there we are. Let's see. SR triple rares, triple rares $28. That one's a cool one. I actually do have that one. 1950. It's always amazing to me when I look at these for the first time. This is the trial deck one, $78. I know I brought it up, but I don't remember thinking to myself, this thing is $78. That thought didn't cross my mind. 14 for that one. SRs are normal, right? 11, 10, 10. If I remember correctly, yes, Neapolitan is gone. She's a good card. Is she completely gone? Yeah, I guess so. And there's nothing there. Currently out of stock. This is one of those moments where I'm saying to myself, I should probably click into the card to see if someone just didn't take a picture of it. But I'm not going to do that. I don't got the time for it. And that is everything. I gotta go. It's been, shoot, almost freaking 2 hours, and I have to get ready to go New Year's Eve. What I want to say is, there's one last thing I want to say. And I hope this doesn't come out as, let me just make myself big here. Okay. What I want to say to everybody is, it's been a crazy year. A lot's happened, like with the actual Weiss Schwarz hobby, collectors, investors, just a lot of emotion happened. To that end, I believe that everybody has some kind of good in them. I will be unbanning all those people I banned in the hopes that as a community we can all grow from what happened this past year and all of that. I mean, I'm doing this just because I have faith in people. Hopefully that the whole negativity, death threats, thoughts of violence goes away. I will say that there was something that was bothering me for a while there, and I'm going to just mention it right now. There was a point where I made those perspective videos, and the reason why, I might have said this before, but the reason why I turned off comments on them, because it ticked me off when I read like those Discord messages that said I was a coward for turning off comments. The reason I turned off comments is everybody has the right to an opinion. Whether you like it or not, everybody has that right, and you shouldn't just be bad-mouthing them for it. I'm specifically talking about my guests. Like, you can insult me all you want, but to insult my guest on like a personal level or threaten them is not something I will ever stand for. I turned off comments on them because I don't care what your opinion is at that point when I was talking about this. Like, my thoughts was, you should respect everybody. That was the video. You should respect their opinions, and if you have something that you want to say to me, feel free to email me. I put my email in every freaking video. Like, every video. You have no reason to say you can't contact me. There was no argument in that video. Like, as in, I am not going to hear your opinion because, like, I don't want you to argue the fact that people shouldn't have an opinion. Like, why would I let you argue that fact? Everybody deserves that right to speak their mind in a respectful way. And if you're going to go on my video that says you should respect people and argue with me about respecting people, I don't care, so I turned it off. I'm not a coward, you're just an ass at that point. Like, if you want to argue the fact that people aren't entitled to an opinion. I banned people because you either threatened me or just name called people, which isn't cool. Like, we're all here, we all have an opinion, and we have the right to give it without being personally attacked. And that's what I want to address here. I haven't watched that apology video. I'm never going to watch that apology video. Honestly, if you want to hear my real opinion on it, I don't believe that that was directed towards me. Even though it might have my name on it, you might have said my name in there, I don't think it was directed towards me because you didn't actually reach out to me. You reached out to people publicly, and we could have dealt with it privately, but you didn't. All those people that were involved in it, there was only one person that actually reached out to me and apologized, and that person isn't banned. So I'll tell you that. All those other people, like, they're actually defending themselves on Facebook. Like, that was okay. Like, to actually group up and attack people was okay. It's not. It's definitely not. But getting back to what I'm saying is, I'm going to unban all those people, just in the sheer hope that we can all just coexist at this point, right? Let's just coexist. We like Weiss. I'm here because I like Weiss, if you haven't figured that out yet. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still here making these videos and spending the time to do so. I will be here as long as my work schedule allows me to, and I'm going to have as much fun as we can. So in the end, I hope we use this, like, let's just put it behind us. That's the reason why I wanted to do this video today. 2021, bad stuff happened, but and good things did happen. I met a lot of cool people and had nice conversations, and that's where we're going to leave it. So as to all of that, that all stays in 2021, and we're not going to think about that ever again. We're moving on to 2022, better times. I'm going to drink this last bit of champagne. I'm glad my wife is driving today. This isn't enough to, like, mess me up, obviously, but it's good. Like, let's just have a good time. I don't know what the deal is. Why do you wake up? Why do people get all angry and stuff like that? It's a game. We should enjoy it. No matter how you want to play this thing, you want to play it, you want to collect it, you want to just stare at a box, feel free, do whatever. I mean, for me, I hope I get to play. I hope Weiss Schwarz in the end grows into this gigantic thing, and there's LGSs everywhere that I can go and play and hang out with all of you, and maybe even tell you my name at some point. I think that would be great. Anyways, for everybody out there, I hope you have a wonderful remainder of 2021. Be safe out there. Don't do anything crazy. As always, have fun, be happy, and don't buy anything outside of your budget.